Hello everyone, hope you are doing good, and also I hope you understood the theory part about what an API is and why we need to use it. So before starting, I just want to make few things clear. I'll share my screen. Here we are going to deploy a full stack application but without a server. You might be amazed how do we do that, because to run a Flask application we need a server. I mean, to run a Python application we need a server. To run Node.js application we need a server. To run Java we need JRE or something. But how can we run the application without a server? Just to answer that, I'll just open my Google Docs. Okay, see here. Okay, we remove them. Here, as you know, for front end, like front end will use HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and in our AWS we deploy front end on S3 buckets. You know it, right? We enable the public access, we enable static hosting and everything. Then we deploy the application on S3, and we can access it through the HTTP URL which S3 bucket provides. Then what if we need a backend? Previously, what we used to do past, we used to use EC2 instances, right? EC2 instances or backend used to keep on running until we terminate the instance, right? So we used to connect this front end with this backend, and database also we have seen, like, I don't want to say the past database which is RDS, it is not outdated, but here to simplify our things we are using DynamoDB. Okay, here then you might ask, without using EC2, then how can we achieve that? How can we deploy and run our application without any server? So here comes our serverless, which is none other than Lambda function, which is none other than Lambda function. You know, right? Previously we have discussed about what is a Lambda function. Here our front end code is in S3 bucket. Here our backend code, listen carefully, our backend code, whatever we have, the code, we are deploying it on Lambda function. So here the front end and backend should communicate, right? So for that reason we are using an API, which our AWS also provides an API service called AWS API. We'll use that. So here to connect this front end back end we use this API, and this is the database which we also configure and add it in our code. So this is the entire setup we are going to discuss now. Let's start quickly. I've logged in into my AWS account. This is my console. Okay, hope you can see it. So first and foremost thing what I want to do is to create a database. I'll just show you how to create a Dynamo database, DynamoDB. So click on this. Hope this part is clear to you. Once again, I just want to make it clear. We have in a 3-tier application, we have front end, back end database. When we are using AWS for the entire hosting, web hosting, we are deploying our front end on S3, our back end on Lambda, and our database is DynamoDB. So what this Lambda does? Previously, EC2 used to run continuously until we stop, right? Here Lambda is nothing like that. We don't know what exactly Lambda uses. Does it use EC2 instance, or does it use Elastic Beanstalk? We have no idea, right? Here Lambda function gives us that flexibility. Whenever there is a API call, only then it gets executed. Until then it sits idle, which saves us lots of costs. Here you need not keep this EC2 instance running. You just need to configure Lambda function so that whenever a Lambda function receives an API call, only then it gets executed. Rest of the time it sits idle. Okay. So that's the advantage of a Lambda function. Let's see all of them. First, let's create a table. Yeah, let's create a table. Second, my mouse got stuck. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Here I'll enter table name as to do table. No, to do tasks. This is my table name, and here our partition key is task ID, which is a string. Okay. Now, what is this task ID? You might ask me why this task ID and why should we need it? Here, it's like a unique identifier. If you are familiar with MySQL, you might know primary key, foreign key, etc. Right? So this is our primary key. It will be auto incremented whenever we create new values. So our motto for today is to create a to-do application. So we are setting up a database. టు మేక్ ఇట్ క్లియర్ ఒక టూ డూ అప్లికేషన్ కోసం మనం ఒక డేటాబేస్ అనేది క్రియేట్ చేస్తున్నాం. సో వీఆర్ కాన్ఫిగరింగ్ ఇట్ ఇన్ దిస్ వే. మనకు కావాల్సింది ఏంటి, ఒక టాస్క్ ఐడి ఒకటి కావాలి, ఇంకా మిగతా డీటెయిల్స్ అంతా ఆటోమేటిక్గా అయిపోతుంది. మిగతా డీటెయిల్ అంటే ఏముంటుంది, జస్ట్ డిస్క్రిప్షన్. సో ఇక్కడ మనం ఫస్ట్ అండ్ ఫార్మోస్ట్ డేటాబేస్ని కాన్ఫిగర్ చేస్తున్నాం. అండ్ నథింగ్ మచ్, క్రియేట్ టేబుల్. బై క్లికింగ్ ఆన్ ఇట్ అవర్ డేటాబేస్ ఈస్ క్రియేటెడ్. ఓకే, ఐ ఆల్రెడీ హ్యావ్ వన్. ఐల్ డిలీట్ ఇట్. So in this step you also will learn like how to delete it. Okay, one is getting deleted. Perfect. First step is done. Okay, congrats, you have your database ready. What is our second step? Let's create a Lambda function. Okay, I'll open this in another tab. I don't have a Lambda function ready. I'll create it. So in this we are deploying our backend code. Okay, I'll name it as to do Lambda. Then here we have a Python code. So I'll choose Python version which can be, yeah, Python 3.10 can be good. Okay, so everything is fine. Hope everything is fine. Then I'll click on create function. Okay, it takes couple of seconds to get created. Yeah, it's done. So our Lambda function is also got created. Now what we have our backend ready. Okay, if backend wants to establish connection with database, it is not straightforward process in this AWS setup. You need to edit the permissions so that the backend has entire access for the database. Okay, you know, right? I am user and roles. Let's edit this role. Let's add a new policy. Attach policy. What database we are using? DynamoDB, right? Okay, DynamoDB full access. We are granting it full access. Okay, after loading it will show us. Perfect. Okay, now what next? I'll remove this. I don't want. Okay, this is an extra tab. Yeah, we have our database ready, we have our backend ready. Now let's go and create a front end. Sorry, we haven't yet. Yeah, let's try to create a front end one. Later we'll see whatever we can do there. Okay, here if you are aware of what we have discussed previously, we are uploading our front-end code, which means HTML code, in an S3 bucket. I'll show it. Create bucket, general bucket, general purpose bucket. I'll name it as my to do app 13.5.25. Okay, see, the name should be unique, otherwise it won't accept. And also you need to uncheck it because anyone should be able to access your site, right? Okay, I'll enable this bucket versioning. For now it is not needed, but in case you are working in an organization, you might enable this. Okay, create bucket. Our bucket got created. Okay, where is it? Where is it? Not this, not this. Flask to do app. Okay, not this. My to do app. Yeah. Okay, let's upload a HTML file. I have it ready. I'll just directly upload it. Open. Okay, then click on upload. HTML file got uploaded, but how can I see that? I'll go to properties. Here I need to enable this, right? Click on enable. Okay, this will be, sorry, index.html. Save changes. Okay, now we'll get a URL, right? Let's try to access the URL. Any guesses what happens? Oh, we got this error. I already assumed we'll get this error. If someone missed that class, this will be very easy for them. I mean, easy to understand. I'll add a new statement. Here I got a default one. Actions. I'll click, sorry, first principal I should keep it as start. Okay, I'll keep actions as what are all the actions to be done. Get, okay, sorry, it should be S3 first. S3. Yeah. Where is it? Get object. This should be the first one. And resource, add a resource type object, bucket name. What is a bucket name? My to do app 12525. Okay, and perfect. Hope it works. Let me click on save changes. Perfect. You can see our app is up and running. I'll just add a task. Nothing happens because we have our front end ready, but we haven't connected our front end to backend. How can we do that? Let's try to do that. Okay. Okay. Now let's add code to our Lambda function. What is our code? So what it does, what we'll add in this code. Okay. Accept. Oh, what happened? Okay. Now what we'll do in this Lambda function is, at present it gave us a code, but we don't want it. What our code exactly consists, let's see that. Here I have my code lambda.py. I'll copy paste the same thing and explain it there. Here if you observe carefully, we are importing Boto3. What is Boto3? Boto3 enables our backend to speak with our uh, AWS instances or any resources. So Boto3 is a module to do that. Okay. Here we are initializing our DynamoDB. And what is a table name? If I'm to do tasks, let me correct it. Yeah, perfect. Then yeah, and what I'm trying to do is I'm creating few functions. So yeah, to return a failure code or a success code. Then whenever I keep the method as get method, so it should return all my content. Whenever I want to add anything to my website, I mean uh, into the task, if I want to add a new task, then I'll use a post method. If I want to remove anything, I'll use delete method. So this is our backend code, but our backend is also ready. Let's click on deploy. Deploy will save our changes. See, successfully updated the function to do Lambda. What next? We have our backend ready. Okay, but we can't establish connection from backend to our database, or backend to our front end. You might say we have our front end, we have a backend, we have a database. So let's create an API for that. Okay, just search API and we'll find it. API gateway. Okay, I'll open this in a new tab. Okay, already have an API. I'll delete it. See, to create an API, just click on create API. We'll use for HTTP, right? HTTP requests works with Lambda HTTP. మనకి Lambda తో కనెక్షన్ కావాలి కాబట్టి we are using HTTP API. Okay, we'll look these concepts later. Okay, let's not do this. Let's build API name. I should give some unique name, right? So let me name it as to do API. Okay, then I'll just click next. Okay, previous. At present we don't have any root, right? Okay, next. We can modify this later, but for now let's go with the default ones. Okay, our API is created. What next? We have created our API, but why is this useful? This is just a dummy API, right? Why should we use it? We don't have anything to do, right? let's try to do let's try to see what can we do here. Okay, let's add a new root. Let's create a root, and on any you can, yeah, the first thing is task, I guess. Let me check it once. Where is it? I'll keep it as task. Okay, I'll create this root. Okay, what next? We have our root set. Oh, we should create an integration. Manage integration. We don't have any integration, right? Let's create it. So we get integration and enti. So to connect to this lambda function, we need to create an integration, right? I mean, for that, create an integration. Choose a root. Any task. Choose integration type. Lambda function. Choose lambda function. We have our lambda function. Okay. Then create. Click on create. So we have created an integration. Then we need to create a deploy stage. Let's create a deploy stage. Let me enter the name dev. Okay, create. Perfect. In the okay, to get the URL we have deployed the API. Okay, now we have our API ready. Let's try to see what it gives. It doesn't give anything. It gives message not found. That's quite common. You'll get that because you haven't configured anything, right? Yeah, and one more important thing is you need to configure CORS. CORS means cross origin resource sharing. So the problem is front end is on S3 and backend is on API gateway. So this integrates our front end to our backend. So let's configure this. Yeah, where is it? Where is it? Yeah, here is our bucket. Let's copy this S3 URL. Oh, why can't I do that? Let's paste it here just to see if everything is working well. Yeah, this is my S3 URL. I'll give it over here. Okay, I need to add few things. Header I should add content type. Okay, and methods are get, post, options, delete. Okay, here I'll click on add, then save it. Why is it invalid format? Let me keep it star. I'll add content type. Get, post, delete, options. Okay, we'll save it now. I'll click on deploy, choose an option. I'll choose my development stage, deploy. Perfect. And if you observe here in our index.html, if we can change anything, that will be well and good, but we can't change anything, right? Let's delete this because if we see here in our API gateway, we have an API. So this is our API and this is our API ID. Let's try to copy paste the same. Yes. So I should change this. Now I'll deploy the same thing. Okay, I'll delete this. Okay, now I'll go back and add the same object. Add files. I'll add this index. Okay, click on upload. Perfect. I think everything is set up well. Now let's try to test the S3 URL. Where is it? Yeah. test it. Okay, visible. Hello at task. What happened? Okay, click on inspect. You can see what happens. Console. So you can see what all happens. It shows our origin is blocked by cars. Okay, cars is blocking our origin. Let's check somewhere what can. For now, let's try to understand how a table looks. If you want to look here, in if you want to look if you have any items, see it shows we have hello. Yeah, just now we gave it right. Hello. Perfect. It's working fine. That's good. Good to know. So I'll try giving another thing. I think we messed up again. Okay, we have only one hello. So what if you want to give something manually? You can also create an item and give hi. Okay, create item and it will return you two things. So you can do this manually, or you can do this using your uh, using your front end, or you can also give it using this test. You can create a new test, then give all the values which are needed to be given, or you can also use Postman API. Postman, yeah, this one. Then you can copy paste the API URL. Where is the URL? In stages you will be shown this one. You can copy paste the same thing. You can also watch it over here. Shows message not found. That's fine. Okay. Okay. You can test your API, or you can give some values here, and you can test it. So to make things clear again, what we have done, we created a database first, then we created a backend logic, means we have written a Lambda function. We have configured our IAM user so that it has full access to our backend, which is DynamoDB. So here these two parts are done first, then we came here, sorry, then the third step is we have created an API gateway. So to the API gateway, we added a route, then integration, we integrated the API gateway with a backend. Then we also configured CORS, but due to some issue here, the final stage is not done. But previously, a task hello has been added. That's quite surprising. Okay, but still, everything is fine except this CORS part. It needs to be configured more. Then we created a deploy stage. After that, yeah, after deploy stage, we came back to CORS and then created these all. Then we again deployed the same thing. So after the API gateway is created, uh, what did we do again? Yeah, we created a front-end application. We have tested it. It was working fine. Then we integrated it with the backend using CORS. Hope all the things are clear. So that's the reason I have arranged it in such a way. Here comes the front end, here comes the API, backend and database. So we have established all the connections perfectly. I just wanted to show a full stack application running. We have seen like it ran a bit before, but due to the CORS issue, it stuck somewhere. It's quite common. You will also get CORS error when you try to implement this. But I wanted you guys to understand the workflow, like how our application works on day-to-day basis when it is deployed on AWS Lambda. So here you didn't use any server, you just gave your code and deployed it. it took care of whatever it can be done. Hope everything is fine. May I know everything is fine or not? So only two people were left.